The night was cold and the wind was blowing hard across the sides of my house. It was rattling my windows. I hate winter weather, and I couldn't wait for those warm first moments of spring, for the long nights and the even longer conversations that I missed having with my friends. I was also sure that whatever this man-beast was wouldn't be so apt to find his way to my place looking for food, nor would he want to. I know, I got ahead of myself. Let me back up some. I moved out here on my own when I was only 19 years old. For context, I'm almost 23 now. I've learned a lot from my folks and living off grid, surrounded by nature, and they made it appear easy. I guess I still had a lot to learn. But that first year was great, though. I made a lot of progress, and I knew that this was the ideal habitat for me. I was thankful for everything I'd gleaned from my parents. Then I learned something for myself, the hard way. The one thing that they never taught me about was this ravenous wolf that walked on two legs. Yeah, I know. I assure you, I'm not crazy, not on drugs, and I only drink on the occasion that me and my friends get together and bullshit around the fire. But we hadn't had the guts to do that since we encountered this bipedal wolf. I don't know what else to call it. I guess Dogman? My dad and I built this place like Fort Knox, but I was still apprehensive that I would be safe after seeing that. I've heard every sound that nature has to offer. Bobcat screams, deer gruffs, birds, frogs, you name it. Most sound ominous in the dark, no matter how innocent they may be. But this night, we would hear something new, something dark, something we knew didn't belong. My friends and I were sitting around the roaring flames, just shooting the breeze and drinking beer. Typical stuff. But about an hour or so after being out there, my friend told me that he heard something walking behind us. The temperature seemed to fall slightly and there was a chill in the air. Light breezes that would send shivers up your spine, and then the leaves began to fall. I still had plenty of cover on the trees surrounding my house to shroud things in mystery, but the crunching of the leaves gave whatever this was we heard away. We all stopped talking and turned down the music we had on in the background. That's when we all heard it. Walking. Something was walking on 2 feet. This was definitely not a quadruped. This was bipedal, and whatever it was heavy. We all sat there in a hushed silence. I was trying my damnedest to figure out what this was, and they had all started looking to me for answers since I was the one who lived here. Like I should know everything that lives with me in the forest. But unfortunately, I had no answer to give to the questions their expressions were asking me. I blurted out the only thing I knew that was even remotely reasonable in my mind, even though I doubted it as I said it. A bear. It has to be a bear. Bear are known to walk on 2 legs, at least in short distances. I knew, though, that this was not walking in short distances. It sounded like it was circling us. We had narrowed down the sound and knew that either one was walking really fast, or the not-so-popular answer of the group was that the noises were surrounding us and there had to be at least 2, maybe more. The truth was, none of us really had any idea. That's when the sound came. A low rumble that vibrated through all of us. It sounded like whatever this was had to be working this growl up from the bottoms of its feet. Then the roar exploded from its throat. That's when my friends scattered and ran to their cars parked nearby. That ain't no bear, they screamed as 2 of them ran into my house. I was left there sitting alone, holding my beer. I was afraid to run like the others had. I wanted to so bad, but it felt like my feet were planted to the ground with cement. I had visions of this beast bursting through the trees and attacking me. I strained to see past the smoke and flames to look into the trees. That's when I saw the outline. This thing was tall. The firelight lit it up just enough so I could see some details. It looked like a really tall wolf. A black wolf with pointed ears and the snout of a dog. Its eyes shone an iridescent amber color, and this thing opened its mouth and showed me its teeth. I waited for another explosive roar, but it just stood there, silent, making eye contact with me. All I could do at this point was hope that it would run away. I was pissed that I'd been left there by myself by my friends. None of that mattered now, though. I felt deep down I was toast. I could only hope that when they explained what happened to me, that someone would believe them. Just then, a car horn blared obnoxiously, breaking up the foreboding silence. My buddy stuck his head out of the car window and yelled at this thing while he was holding down the horn. Just then, I heard another one of these things from behind me. It was running away. Amazingly, the sound of the leaves crunching brought me peace. But I still had to deal with the one standing right in front of me. I knew this was a battle I would probably lose, but at least there was only one now. Just then, a sharp howl rang out from behind me, and the face of whatever this was I was looking at seemed to soften. It huffed at me as if to say, "We're not finished here," and it closed its mouth. I was shaking. I had no idea what to expect. Then it took off in the opposite direction, crunching the leaves as it ran. I just sat there for about 10 minutes, in the silence, with only the crackling of the fire making noise as it slowly started to fizzle out. My buddy walked over with a flashlight and pointed it at the wood line where this thing was standing. Nothing. They were gone. I breathed a sigh of relief as I felt my heart rate begin to slow, and that's when I realized that I had pissed my pants. My body was so stiff from fear, I had crushed my beer can. I felt like I was going to faint. It was the aftermath of that adrenaline dump, no doubt. In the days and weeks that followed that event, I bought a sturdier place for my chickens, and I made sure that I was inside every night well before dark. I had plenty of firepower and ammunition, but I have to be honest. This thing was so massive in size and height, I don't believe I'd be able to take it down. It's been a few years, but I still suffer from nightmares. It seems like every winter now these things come around, and I don't know why. Am I living in what used to be their territory? Are they tempted by the chickens? Worse yet, is it me they want? I chose this place because of the livability. Wide open areas for a garden, a good place near the house for chickens, a creek nearby for water. It was perfect. Now every winter, I question my decision and wonder if it was the best one. I talked to my dad about it, and well, you already know how that conversation went. He said, "We haven't ever experienced anything like that, and if we had, you'd know about it." He even started questioning me about whether I should move out of the wilderness and back into the city somewhere. I understand there's wildlife. I grew up with that. But wolves that walk on 2 feet? That's a new one for me. But I don't think I could ever bring myself to move back into the cement city. Out here, I do at least have freedom. Until the winter, that is. I don't know if you can use this or not. If you do, I appreciate it. I think there's way more to these things than one's own imagination. Although my buddies left me high and dry that night, we have buried the hatchet since then. Although I do rib them from time to time about leaving me alone with those things. Thanks for all you do. I enjoy all the shows. Keep up the great work. Jack.